ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ Louis ਹੈ My name is Louis I'm 24 from New Zealand and today I'm going to be sharing with you my story about my journey from being a Kiwi kid and coming into Sikhism So ਆਓ ਜੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠੋ and I'll share the story with you One of the first questions I get asked when I meet someone is, are you from a Punjabi family? Or were you born into a Punjabi family? And the answer is no. I was born and raised in a Kiwi family on a farm in South Canterbury, which is in the South Island of New Zealand. And I went to school and moved to Christchurch and did boarding school there for a few years. And after I finished my boarding school, that's when my Sikhi journey really began. So it began on my first year out of school. I was working in my first job and I met a co-worker there who was from Ludhiana in Punjab and we became good friends and we eventually went to his flat and when I went to his flat I met this Sardar turban wearing guy called Singh and Tajinder and I became friends and I started to ask him about his turban and what it symbolized and where it was from and he explained to me about Sikhi and gave me a very brief history on Sikhi and I was very interested and I wanted to learn more so I asked him if I could come to the Gurdwara, the Sikh temple with him and he said sure come on this Sunday so the next Sunday Tajinder and I went to the Gurdwara and before entering the Gurdwara I was quite shy and quite nervous because I'd never been in there before and it was completely new atmosphere for me. But on entering the Gurdwara, I immediately felt very peaceful and very calm and it was an amazing experience the first time I went there. I sat in the Darbar Sahib and I was listening to the Kirtan and the Path and even though I couldn't understand anything, I was still feeling very peaceful and relaxed there and it was such a pleasant experience and then after I saw the langar and the community kitchen and how the food is prepared and served to all of the sangat there, all of the community and that was amazing. It was amazing to see. I really fell in love with that straight away. So I started to come to the Gurdwara once a week with Tajinder and after a short period of time if Tajinder couldn't come I'd go myself and I'd start meeting people there and started to learn a few Punjabi words, start to learn a little bit more about the Sikhi history and I'd sit with Gur Sikhs and the Sikhs they have a lot of knowledge about the Sikh religion and they would explain to me the history and of all of the Gurus and the Gurus' history and explain to me some of the basic Gurbani that is read in Sikhi and that's how I really started to fall in love and grow more of a passion for Sikhi and I started to come to the Gurdwara at least once a week, sometimes during the nights as well and I would practice my Punjabi in my spare time and slowly learn more and more and after a couple of months one of the Sikhs at the Gurdwara he taught me how to tie a pagri so I started to practice tying a pug, a turban and in this style and after a short period of time I started to look into going to India because I really wanted to visit the historical places and visit the heart of Sikhi. So after a couple of years I went to Punjab and I stayed in Chandigarh with my friend Manpreet Singh and Manpreet looked after me very well. He's a very nice family and he took me around Punjab and he took me to a lot of historical Gurdwaras and that was an amazing experience and on the 10th of June 2018 I had Amrit Sanchar from Anandpur Sahib, Geskar Sahib which is a very historical Sikh temple in Punjab because there was the first ever Sikh baptism which occurred. So that was an amazing experience for me and I loved that place so much. And we also went to Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple, and that was another incredible experience and I really miss visiting there so I'm really looking forward to when I can next go back there. And we went to a lot of other historical Gurdwaras like Fatehgarh Sahib, Chamkaur Sahib Damdama Sahib. When I came back to New Zealand, that's when I started to want to learn more and more. I started to learn how to play the vaja, the harmonium, and I started to learn how to do kirtan, which is singing the Gurbani. And I slowly started to learn the tabla as well, the Indian drums, which is played with the kirtan. And since then I've just been continuing to learn more about kirtan, more about the styles of kirtan, and I have an enormous love for music, as I've always had a passion in music. I play the guitar, drums and other instruments from a young age, so I've always had a passion for music, and having this love for the Sikhi and being able to express that through music as well is really, really amazing for me, and I really, really love that. So that is a short version of my story into coming into Sikhi. I'm sure I've missed something, so if you have any questions, please comment below or ask me, and I'll try my best to answer and let you know. But thank you very much for listening to my story, and Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa or Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Right now I'm currently in Auckland working, but in a few weeks when I'm back in Christchurch, I will introduce you to my family, and I can ask my family how they first reacted when I came into Sikhi, and they certainly had different reactions, so I can ask them and show you guys how they reacted when I first told them that I was going to become Sikh, and what questions they had, what knowledge they had about Sikhi before, and many other things. So I look forward to sharing that with you guys. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.